Good evening. I call this meeting of the Pinellas County School Board, February 24th, 2026, to order. Please note, Mrs. Meyer is appearing via Zoom. Ms. Meyer, can you hear me?
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. This evening, we will have a moment of silence, followed by the presentation of colors by Hollins High JROTC U.S. Army Unit, with instructors Lieutenant Colonel James Collins and Command Sergeant Major Edwin Rivera. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Vice Chair Don Peters. This evening, we'll also have Hollins High Royal Chamber Choir under the direction of Christian Taper. They will sing the national anthem and provide a second selection, which will be introduced later. Please stand and remain standing until the national anthem has ended and the color guard has exited.
States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, arm. Right, hey. Arm. Arm.
You may be seated. Thank you, Mr. Taper. Please introduce your next selection.
Good evening, school board, or good afternoon, rather. Today my name is Christian Tapper, and this is the Dixie Hollins Royal Chamber Choir. We will be performing a selection entitled Bonse Aba, which is a Zambian traditional song.
Bonsea ba mupokele la balipele maka akubabana.
Bonsea ba mupokele la balipele maka akubabana.
Bonsea ba mupokele la balipele maka akubabana.
Kubabana,
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 bakwalesa,
kubabana,
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 bakwalesa,
kubabana,
kubabana, kubabana, bakwalesa,
kubabana,
kubabana, kubabana, bakwalesa.
Bonsea ba mupokele la balipele maka akubabana.
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 Kubabana,
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 bakwalesa,
kubabana,
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 bakwalesa.
muyayaya,
Muyayaya, muyayaya, bakwalesa.
muyayaya,
Muyayaya, muyayaya, bakwalesa.
Beautiful. Thank you. Next on our agenda, we will now share a video from my alma mater, Jonathan C. Gibbs High School, honoring the past, inspiring the future. Gibbs High School's new History Museum.
Well, that's history.
A group of teachers about 4 years ago wanted to make sure that we were preserving, protecting, and displaying the history of Gibbs and its vital contributions to the community. And we also realized that the 100th anniversary was coming up.
Because of desegregation, a lot of the all-black schools got eliminated totally.
I want my students to make sure they understand the tremendous history that they are a part of and how they can leave an impact on future generations.
So I think the most important thing is to help them see why the history of this school is unique and important in their life. That the actual work, the purpose, the belief, and to have a school that educated African-American students so far back is still important to this day. Integration, what it looks like today, that struggle was ongoing.
For me, it's really amazing to see the history behind Gibbs, because we talk about Gibbs High School and who created the school and who was it named after, but I've never really understood how deep it went. I never even knew the structure of this building represents the old building, because I've never seen pictures of the old building.
They mimic the arches that you see.
It's a very emotional experience for me because my history goes back so far. I mean, I graduated from this school like 55 years ago. And from the time I was in first grade, I had teachers who poured into me. I felt like they saw, when I thought about it as an adult, they saw something in me that I didn't necessarily see in myself.
I appreciate it a lot because I think we learn a lot in textbooks and in classes and all of our history. But I like it when I get to be face to face with people who actually went through things, and they can tell me their own personal situations and how some of them were kids and how it affected them growing up.
The first assignment was always to honor him because he introduced textbooks for every student in the state of Florida.
That this means that what we accomplished and what we did in 1957 is still very vibrant to our community, and to bring it forth and continue to let the community know what Gibbs High was and what it meant to our community.
When I was here, I think this is the fourth time maybe I've stopped over here to bring another few things that I may have found in my possessions all these years later. It's vital that we make sure that young people know that be some legacy even across generations.
I want them to feel such pride in what Gibbs High has stood for in all these years.
The museum's hope is that we keep that alive and that we keep educating students to try to remember that this is your legacy now. This is your history, and we pass it to you.
When you see her, tell her Mrs. Thurman said, hey.
It's overjoying. And think, we're coming up to 100 years. It's awesome.
It's yes. How amazing is that? Gibbs High School's new history museum, and you heard it from the perspectives of students, former students, and 2025 Teacher of the Year, Dennis Zurcher. Such a great way to honor the past and inspire the future. Thank you. Next on our agenda, introduction of professional and community organizations. Isabel Rascarenas.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Hendrick, and staff. It is my pleasure to introduce the following representatives of community and professional organizations. From the Pinellas Classroom Teachers Association, Lee Bryant, President. Representing the North Pinellas League of Women Voters, Dr. Marty Shapiro and Marty Falwell. From the Pinellas Arts for a Complete Education Coalition, David Tagliarini and Maria Cantones. Members of the media in attendance include Carlos Giraldo and Wilcelis Cartagena from Telemundo 49, Sarah Blazones and David Hodge from Bay News 9, Jeff Solachek from Tampa Bay Times, Genevieve Curtis and Scott Wilson from Fox 13, Ryan Arbogast and Bobby Bills from News Channel 8. Today we have a presentation from the Student Rights and Responsibility Committee. Please welcome Magi Faircloth and Melissa Wynn from Hollins High School, and on behalf of their principal, Candace Metcalf, assistant principal, Nathan Lovelet.
Welcome.
Good morning, Madam Chair, school board members, Superintendent Hendricks, and staff. My name is Magi Faircloth, a 12th grader high school at Hollins High, serving as our executive class president. Alongside me is Melissa Lynn, a 12th grader at Hollins High School, serving as our vice president. We want to first express our endeavoring gratitude for being granted the opportunity to shine a little light on a place we consider home, in front of such an impressive group of individuals. At Hollins High School, we aim to be the best public high school in the state of Florida by providing fair, high-quality educational opportunities that help every student succeed. Our vision is to build strong leaders who are motivated to excel in caring and committed communities. Here at Hollins High, we are very proud of our programs, which includes our Academy of Entertainment Arts, Cambridge, Culinary, and JLTC. The Academy of Entertainment Arts, also known as AEA, is a specialized hands-on program focused on creativity and technology-based art fields in the entertainment industry. Some of these classes include branding, music production, animation, photography, film, and gaming character design. AEA now holds a variety of achievements, including Academy of Distinction recognition, 7,000 industry certifications, 15 golden keys, and 13 scholastic silver keys. Nextly, our culinary arts program is about learning by doing it in a professional environment. From basic kitchen safety and knife skills to advanced cooking, baking, dining room management, and competition experiences. Students finish the program with industry certifications such as Safe Staff, Serve Safe, and ProStarts. Hands-on experience, and a strong foundation for careers or further educations in hospitality or culinary arts. 150 of our students have earned a Safe Staff certification, with 60 earning their Serve Safe certifications. Lastly, students may also participate in the Cambridge/ACE program at Hollins High School, which provides a challenging, flexible, and internationally recognized academic pathway that prepares students for college and offers significant college credit and scholarship opportunities. Students who earn their ACE diploma may also use it to qualify for Bright Futures. Through our AVIT program at Hollins High, students who have taken AVIT for 2 years, are committed to a program after college, have completed 20 volunteer hours, earned a C or better in 6 ACE or AP semesters, and maintained a 3.0 or high-weighted GPA, can earn an AVIT pin to wear at graduation. Additionally, our certification percentage has surged by 636%. These industry certifications demonstrate to employers that candidates possess essential job-ready skills. We offer certifications in Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, After Effects, Dreamweaver in design, and animation.
All right, and now for our JROTC program, which is a program that is designed to help students build confidence and strong character while learning skills such as communication, goal setting, and problem solving. Cadets participate in classroom instruction, physical fitness activities, leadership exercise, community service, and team events such as drill competitions and color guard. And then our theater department offers a full range of theater art classes and performance opportunities where students can learn both acting and technical production skills. It is a program that supports students who want to perform on stage or work behind the curtain, enhancing teamwork, creativity, and confidence in a supportive environment. Our theater department, Troop 2055, has attended districts every year, with this year, every student placing above a superior and excellence. And then some of our clubs, like Academic Team, are designed for highly motivated, academically strong students who enjoy competing in a school-based academic contest. It is like a quiz bowl style contest where students answer questions on a variety of subjects, testing both knowledge and quick thinking. And then our Hollins Academic Team has won second place in 2026, with districts being held soon. Moving on to our school's robotics team, it provides students with hands-on experience in robotic design, programming, and engineering. It has achieved success at in-state and world-level competitions this year alone. They placed third in the REACH Award, second in the Think Award, and first in the Control Award. Our Hollins Skills USA chapter supports career and technical education students in developing workplace, leadership, and technical skills, sending members to compete in state and national contests. This year, our team has placed first and third in the baking and pastry section of the competition, with many additional students advancing to states. All these competitive clubs provide students with practical experience, teamwork, and career-focused opportunities. Here at Hollins, we also have a clothing closet and a food pantry, which is a class where students can earn their Bright Future hours through working in the food pantry, which is where students can receive non-perishable food items they need. We partner with Publix, Johns Hopkins, and the St. Pete Free Clinic to feed up to 80 families per week, not including our staff. We also have 150 students trained in the Triad of Life, working alongside our partner, Sunstar Paramedics, to provide this training. And then through our clothing closet, students and teachers can donate clothes, school supplies, and hygiene products, which other students can receive completely free of charge. Within the same class, we also offer a Teen Court, which is a program that supports students who are struggling with truancy and encourages consistent school attendance.
In closing, we want to thank you for taking the time to listen and for allowing us the opportunity to represent Hollins High School. We're incredibly proud of our school, our programs, and the students who have worked hard every day to make Hollins a place of excellence, opportunity, and community. Thank you for your continued support, your leadership, and for your investing in the success of students like us. We truly appreciate your time and consideration.
Thank you, Magi, Melissa, and Assistant Principal Lovelet, for sharing information about Hollins High. It is always wonderful to hear about our schools doing great, and it brings me even more pride when I see one of my own third grade students. So thank you very much for highlighting Hollins High, and it is great to see you doing well also. Next on our agenda are possible changes to the agenda, agenda item 2.1. Mr. Hendrick, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, there are 3 amendments. All 3 were posted last week for the board and public to see. The first is item 7.3, request approval of the personnel recommendation, administrative, instructional, and supporting services. The attachment was updated on page 4 on the supporting services recommendations. Item 7.14 was added, request approval of the developer's rental plan agreement involving the development of the former Tomlinson Adult Education Center into workforce housing, and authorize district staff to execute all closing documents at the project closing. We discussed that at the workshop last week, and we received the signed agreement from the developer after we posted, and so that attachment was added. All of the information is the same that we discussed at the workshop. And lastly, non-consent item 8.6, request approval of the charter school renewal agreement with Micro School of Integrated Academics and Technologies Incorporated for a 1-year renewal effective July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Again, that was discussed at the workshop last week. We received the signed agreement after we posted. All of the information in the agreement is identical to our discussion, and the contract is the same contract you saw at the workshop. So those are the 3 items, Madam Chair.
Board members, are there any recommended changes? In addition to what Mr. Hendrick mentioned, I would like to pull item 7.2, request approval of the 3rd Amendment to Charter School Agreement with Discovery Academy of Science Charter School to expand to a 2nd location from the consent agenda. As board chair, I find good cause to amend the agenda as described by Superintendent Hendrick and me. Next, the adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended? I have a motion by Mrs. Long and a second by Mrs. Hine to adopt the agenda as amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to approve the agenda as amended carries 7-0. Now on to our special order agenda. May I have a motion to approve item 4.1, presentation of the proclamation designating March 2nd through 6th, 2026 as Newspaper and Education Week? I have a motion by Mrs. Peters and a second by Ms. Blacksburg. Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's my pleasure to call up our Journeys in Journalism program coordinator, Kenya Woodard, who will explain a little bit about the proclamation and our partnership with the Tampa Bay Times. Ms. Woodard?
Evening, thank you. Good evening, Chair Edmond, board members, Superintendent Hendrick, leadership, teachers, scholars, and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. For 25 years, Journeys in Journalism has empowered students at Melrose Elementary, Johns Hopkins Middle, and Lakewood High Schools to find their voices, document their communities, and develop critical thinking and communication skills. Journeys in Journalism represents the best of what public education can provide: authentic learning, student engagement, and real-world skill development. Through journalism, students are not only learning reading, writing, and communication standards, they also are learning research skills, media literacy, collaboration, digital production, and civic awareness. For a quarter of a century, JIJ students have written articles, produced broadcasts, created podcasts, and captured community history through photography and multimedia storytelling. Most recently, this has included interviewing Mayor Ken Welch and city officials about the proposed gas plant redevelopment, jotting notes while renowned Harriet Tubman sculptor Wesley Wofford speaks, taking photos of the changing landscape in downtown St. Petersburg, or editing audio from community griot Gwendolyn Reese. These experiences build confidence, strengthen academic skills, and help students see themselves as contributors to their schools, their communities, and the world around them. Students learn to evaluate sources, ask informed questions, and communicate responsibly, skills that are essential in today's information-rich world. Perhaps most importantly, the program helps students understand that their voices matter. When students interview community leaders, document neighborhood stories, or report on school events, they are practicing civic engagement in meaningful ways. This anniversary is an opportunity to thank the district leaders, principals, teachers, community partners, and supporters who have sustained Journeys in Journalism over the years, and that partner includes newspapers and education. Your continued support ensures that students have access to creative, rigorous, and relevant learning experiences. As we look ahead, this program will continue to evolve alongside will continue to evolve while remaining grounded in its mission, empowering students to think critically, communicate clearly, and engage with their communities. On behalf of the students, past and present, thank you for supporting Journeys in Journalism and for supporting student journalism in Pinellas County Schools. Happy 25th to JIJ. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Woodard. Mrs. Kane, would you please read the proclamation?
Absolutely. A proclamation of Newspaper and Education Week. Whereas research demonstrates the best way to help children discover the joy of reading and become lifelong readers is to involve them early and often. And whereas helping a child to learn and love to read improves a student's trajectory for success in school and beyond. And whereas research shows that students who learn using the newspaper as an educational resource are more likely to become lifelong readers and informed, engaged citizens. Whereas Newspaper and Education is an international program that encourages the use of daily newspaper as a living textbook for students from primary through adult education levels. And whereas for more than 40 years, the Tampa Bay Times Newspaper and Education program has served educators, students, and families by providing classroom newspapers, companion materials, and instructional support. And whereas Newspaper and Education Week is commemorated and celebrated annually during the first full week of school in March. Now, therefore, the School Board of Pinellas County does hereby recognize March 2nd through March 6th, 2026, as Newspaper and Education Week and encourage students to read the newspaper daily in school and at home to enhance and enrich their lives. Signed this 24th day of February, 2026.
Thank you. Any board discussion? This year, I had the opportunity to attend the Journeys in Journalism's 25th anniversary, and Ms. Woodward, you said it just perfectly. Thank you, Ms. Woodard, and your staff and team for making journalism and Journeys in Journalism possible, as well as the partners, sponsors, educators, and of course, the students who keep journalism alive. Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve item 4.1. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye. I'm sorry, I'm not opposed. I am in favor.
Okay. The motion passes 7-0. Thank you for clarifying. Next on our agenda is, may I have a motion to approve item 4.2, presentation of the proclamation designating March 2nd through the 6th as National School Breakfast Week. I have a motion by Mrs. Hine and a second by Mrs. Kane. Superintendent Hendrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is indeed a pleasure to celebrate National School Breakfast Week coming up, and to share more about this proclamation is our Chief Operations Officer, Jennifer Dull. Ms. Dull.
Thank you, Superintendent Hendrick and board members. I am indeed excited because it is often said that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and studies continue to show for students that is even more important because it increases student achievement and student attendance. So what better way to celebrate that than to put forward the National School Breakfast Week, which is going to be celebrated on March 2nd through the 6th. The entire food and nutrition team is excited to bring forward this year's theme as the quest for school breakfast, and as well as what they do every single day. So thank you for supporting not only the school breakfast program, but the food and nutrition team at all of our schools and sites every single day.
Thank you, Mrs. Dull. Ms. Hine, would you please read the proclamation?
Glad to. Proclamation, National School Breakfast Week, March 2nd through 6th, 2026. Whereas today's children are tomorrow's leaders, they amaze us with their resilience and inspire us with their creativity and optimism. And whereas studies have shown that meals provided at school not only meet students' nutritional needs, but also significantly enhance their ability to learn. And whereas the National School Breakfast Program has served our nation admirably since its permanent establishment in 1975 and is dedicated to the health and well-being of our nation's children. And whereas there is evidence of a continued need for nutrition education and awareness of the value of school nutrition programs. Now, therefore, the School Board of Pinellas County hereby proclaims the week of March 2nd through 6th, 2026 as National School Breakfast Week. We encourage all residents to be aware of and concerned about their children's nutrition habits in hopes of achieving a healthier citizenry for today and the future. Signed this 24th day of February, 2026.
Thank you, Mrs. Hine. Any board discussion? I have a motion and a second to approve item 4.2. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. Next on our agenda, recognition of recipients of state and national awards. Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is my pleasure to bring this item for the board. And as I begin, the board is going to go down front to take pictures with our recipients tonight. As the board goes down, I want you to know that Mrs. Long, one of our board members, is going to remain seated up here. She's had some surgery recently. And so, students, if you'd like your picture with Mrs. Long, she says come back in about 3 weeks, and she's ready to take it, all right? And she'll be happy to do so. So as our board goes down, one of the great things that our board does is celebrate and recognize students who have won regional, state, and national awards. And tonight, although you've been recognized at different ceremonies, we want you to know how important it is for your success across Pinellas County Schools. Students, as I call your name this evening, when I call your name, you're going to come up and be with our board. You're going to shake the hands of our board members. They're going to kind of have you come to the middle, and we'll take a picture. Our communications team will be up front to take a picture of you with our board and be recognized. And then once you're done, you'll peel back off around and then back to your seat or with your parents and friends that are here, and we'll continue the procession. So our first up tonight is our regional spelling bee winner, and that is Park Allen. Come on up, Park. Park is an 8th grader at Eastlake Middle School, and just 2 weeks ago, he was the winner of the 2026 Scripps Regional Spelling Bee held at the University of South Florida. Park also made it to the finals last year and was in the top 4 and came back as an 8th grader, his last year eligible to win the regional championship. We will be cheering him on at the National Spelling Bee, which will be held in late May in Washington, D.C. Congratulations, Park. Next up, it's our pleasure to honor students who won state-level competitions in Florida Skills USA. Skills USA is a career and technical student competition, and our first honoree tonight is from Dunedin High School, Matt Summers. Come on up, Matt. Matt competed in the drone flight competition and was the state champion, winning a gold medal. Congratulations, Matt. Next, we'll be honoring students who participated in the Florida History Day, an annual statewide activity that enhances the teaching and learning of history in middle and high schools. The students who we'll honor today first competed at their school level to advance to the regional competition, where they won and advanced to the state level competition. And our first honoree is from Eastlake High School, Hannah Moore. Come on up, Hannah. Hannah won 2 awards at the Florida History Day competition, the Hispanic Heritage Award and the Cubberley Award, for her research paper entitled Operation Pedro Pan, Cuban Parents' Responsibility in Saving Countless Children's Rights and Freedom. Congratulations, Hannah. Our second recognition tonight from Palm Harbor University High School is Darian Grobe. Come on up, Darian. Darian won first place at the Florida History Day competition for his documentary entitled The Melodies of Change, Marvin Gaye's Music of Advocacy and Urgency. His documentary was also a finalist at the national competition over the summer in Washington, D.C. Congratulations, Darian. And our final honoree in the Florida History Day competition, also from Palm Harbor University High School, is Elsa Kabashi. Come on up, Elsa. Elsa was a statewide champion in the Holocaust Education Award for her senior individual website entitled BESA, Rights and Responsibilities of Honoring an Ancient Oath. Congratulations, Elsa. Next, we will honor students from the National Raider Team at Pinellas Park High School's Coast Guard JROTC. Come on forward. The Coast Guard JROTC at Pinellas Park High School took 3 first-place trophies in the national event of their all-service Raider Nationals. They won first-place awards for rope bridge, gauntlet, and tire flip, and overall took second place in the national competition. Here tonight on behalf of the entire team are Pinellas Park High School students Claire Lefebvre and Henry True, who are accepting the honor on behalf of their team. Congratulations to our Coast Guard cadets. Students, Miss Edmond believes it's all her responsibility that you're here tonight. Thank you to our other Coast Guard cadets who are in the back with their team. Next up, it's our pleasure to recognize the Florida Marching Band champions from Seminole High School. Come on up, Seminole High School. Tonight we honor the Seminole High Marching Band, the Class 4A gold medal champion. The Warhawk Band secured the win at the Florida Marching Band Championships in November. Congratulations to the back-to-back Class 4A gold medalists who swept all categories: music, visual, and general effect. Tonight, on behalf of the entire band, our Seminole High School students, Christina Hills, Victoria Hills, Rebecca Novak, Ella Picion, India Plomotos, Piper Spence, Dylan Vinci, and Madeline Vinci. Congratulations, Seminole High School. Those Seminole High School students were also in the Rose Bowl parade last year. Good job, Warhawks. And our last group of students tonight to honor is also a marching band, and tonight we honor the Tarpon Springs Outdoor Music Performance Ensemble. Students, come forward. Tonight we honor the Tarpon Springs Outdoor Music Ensemble, which won the 2025 Bands of America Regional Championship in Orlando. The ensemble also received Outstanding Music Performance, Outstanding Visual Performance, and Outstanding General Effect Awards. The competition took place in Orlando on October 18th and included marching bands from around the country. Their production this year was titled The Void. Congratulations to Tarpon Springs High School students Grace Hudig, Jake Johnson, Isabel Naskowitz, and Frankie O'Neill. Congratulations, Spongers. That concludes our school board recognitions for this evening. Our board will come back up. And for members of the audience who were here for that time, you are certainly welcome to stay the entire evening. But if not, tonight right now is a very good time to exit. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your students with us.
Well, that definitely was exciting. Congratulations to all of the award recipients, and keep up the great work. Now on to public comments on agenda items. Mrs. Hauk, are there any speakers for agenda items?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have currently 5 speakers for agenda items.
Thank you. Members of the public have 3 separate opportunities to address the board when we gather for a business meeting. The first is public comment on agenda items. The second is at public hearings, most of which are policies. The last is after our meeting when speakers may address the general business of the district. At each opportunity for public input, board members are here to listen to you. This is not a time for interaction, but the board will take your comments into consideration before it votes on the agenda items. The board is committed to a standard of civility and decorum in conducting our meetings. This includes refraining from clapping or making audible noises during or after a speaker's comments. We appreciate you assisting us in maintaining a civil and constructive environment. Lastly, please note that this meeting and all public comments will be broadcast live on the internet, and the video will be publicly archived. Members of the public may always communicate with the board through our email address, board@pcsb.org, or by calling the board office at 727-588-6300. Thank you. Mrs. Howe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 2 lecterns available, so I'll be calling speakers 2 at a time. The first 2 are Curtis Camponi and Michael Gerke.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? First and foremost, those kids, I appreciate that you give the students a space to celebrate themselves and highlight the work they're doing, especially for our public schools. That was incredible. It was inspiring. I am here right now as a parent speaking about Oldsmar Elementary transitioning to a K-8. I support that. For full transparency, my kids go there, so I'm not fully objective, but let me tell you my reasoning why. First, 3 more years, my kids get to be together as siblings. That increases the togetherness, the bond, the psychological safety, right? Not only, though, is it stability for them, it is stability for my wife and I as parents. Because what this means, the fact that next 8 years we know what's going to happen, we can invest more money into our home. Maybe we can look at another house. Maybe professionally we can look at other options. So this stability isn't just there for the kids now. This is here for the families as well. And then just on another note, when we were deciding what schools to go to, we talked about charter. We talked about private. We talked about public. And charter and private said, hey, we can be the center of the community. That's why you want to be here. But with a K-8 model, public schools can be the center of the community. And I love the strategic vision that we're going in that direction. However, I just have one ask of the superintendent and maybe the board. If you are voting in favor of this, as part of your vote, can you also express support or commitment that the leadership that is on site at Oldsmar will remain there during the transition? We know when change happens, that change is only going to be effective if the leadership and the boots on the ground is solid. And let me tell you, Oldsmar Elementary, the leadership is solid. The vice principal is on point, and the principal, Mr. Logan, just got shouted out and celebrated by the city of Oldsmar. So when you are making that vote, I want to see if on the record, the board, the superintendent possibly, will commit to our leadership remaining on site at the very least during the full transition to K-8. And I did not think I would have a minute left, so just real quick, my kids go to Oldsmar. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Frankie. Sorry I am not there for dinner. Eat your broccoli. I will be home after these nice people vote on your school. Thank you, board.
Hello, great to see you, Miss Long, in person. Everybody probably knows who I am. My name is Michael Gerke. Just wanted to take a second to publicly acknowledge the school board and say thank you for your time in this matter, closing or keeping the opening of Cross Bayou Elementary. Thank you to Laura Hine, Caprice Edmond, and also Kevin Hendricks for personally taking the time to know me in person outside of these meetings. As you all face these types of challenges in the future, I hope we can learn from this experience together. I hope more of the school board members reach out to parents when parents reach out to them. I know that might not change some of the things that you have to decide, but it's nice to have peace of mind knowing you really do care. I'm sure you remember Miss Peters when you stood in front of this microphone, maybe even this very spot, and looked at the school board and questioned whether they do care or not. I can honestly say I have some peace of mind knowing some of you really do care, if not all of you. Some care so much about school board, if they care or not, that they became a school board member. Yes, I'm talking about Miss Peters. So see, I can't ask that question, do you care? I know you do. 2021, Peters stood in front of a microphone, and today she still fights for what she believes in is right for the future of our kids. Thank you for letting me have an opportunity to stand in front of you and do what's right for our kids. So truly, thank you for that. I don't know the direction that this will go today, but before it does go that way, before my feelings get involved in my emotions, if I don't get the outcome that I hope for, I just want to truly say thank you for this opportunity for me to grow in front of all of you. I really mean that truly. Thank you for everything you do in this community. I wish everybody nothing but the best, the school boards all the way through the staff behind me, whether it's the school board safety head operator, I believe his name's Sean, I believe it, all the way down to the people that clean this school, or even this building, sorry. I have one last thought to share with you. My father told me a story when I was a child. It was a story of a shepherd that would leave the 99 for the one. He'd leave his flock of sheep to go save the one that went astray. That shepherd would go and find the lost and find the lost sheep, and then he would go and catch it. He would put that sheep up on his shoulders and bring it back to the flock, and he would rejoice, for he had found his lost sheep. So you know, Cross Bayou Elementary is that sheep. So I'll only ask you one more time, please save my school. Thank you for your time.
The next speaker is Malachi Gerke, speaking to item 8.4, followed by Kaljur, speaking to 8.5 and 8.1.
Hello, as you heard, my name is Malachi, and I just wrote this quickly. As a Cross Bayou student, I think you guys should reconsider, because you might think it's a good decision to shut down and save a lot of money by doing it. But I heard literally from another student in my class, I think yesterday, that another school had 58 students, and at that point I was not really happy about it. And my teacher said that you guys are grouping kindergartners kids with 8th grade, and I have 2 little sisters, and I will never even accept people doing that to little kids that should have their learning right, which they do. But think about it, like a kindergartner and a little kid in a kindergartner and like an 8th grader in the same bathroom. Most people think that's not going to end well, and neither do I. And I hope all y'all reconsider about what you're doing to Cross Bayou Elementary and the people who care about it.
All right. Hello, you all. My name is Ms. Curry. I'm speaking in reference of the bulletins of 8.1 and 8.5. Primarily in referencing of the blind and the visual and hearing impaired. First of all, I want to address with you all, I think that when you all are sitting at a pivotal point and you are a little bit more privy than some of us as pupils or scholars, I think would be a big way to consider. We are your future educators. My children, your grandchildren, your children, we are your future educators. We are your chairmen. We are your superintendents, your doctors, your lawyers, etc., your principals, your maintenance workers, all that. I think that a primary focal point, which has not been considered, is you do not delegate yourselves in a point of position where we are as parents and as students, primarily because you all are the upper echelons. With that being said, to combine an 8th grader with a kindergartner, I think you have to really sit back with yourselves individually in a personal perspective to really look at how that may affect I don't think it would be more so of as a positive effect. I think budgeting, you all see it in a perspective as in budgeting as in a positive effect. I don't think for the well-being of the youth, of the scholars, of their fundamental, their education, I don't think it will be very helpful, because you have different behaviors that are exhibited from younger adolescents to a little bit more mature adolescents. Whatever that behavior may be, you have to consider that, because it may influence in a negative impact. Secondarily, if you have one school in Pinellas County that is suitable for the blind impaired or the visually impaired, rather it's Braille or rather it's some individual that are interpreting, you have to really sit down and take into consideration it's not all based upon budgeting and what may be projected at the physical year. You have to really give it a little bit more cushioning for the youth. Because of that, literacy, grammar, they are not as fundamental readily for what you all think that they are. I've been volunteering for 27 years. I have seen a lot coming from, not to say the lower point, but as a point pivotal directing with the individuals. My children range from the age of 23 until 6 years of age. I have 6 children. So I'm very hands-on deck, so I'm asking you to reconsider combining the schools, and please do not close the Distant Academy. Thank you for all the things that you do. Nice meeting you all in person, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
The next speaker is Savina Cole, speaking to item 8.1 and 8.5. Oh, there are no more speakers.
Thank you. Now moving on to, there is no unfinished business, so now on to the consent. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
I move to approve the consent agenda as amended. Second.
I have a motion from Mrs. Peters and a second from Mrs. Long to approve the consent agenda as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. We will now consider the item that was pulled. May I have a motion to approve item 7.2, request approval of Third Amendment to Charter School Agreement with Discovery Academy of Science Charter School to expand to a second location. I have a motion from Ms. Peters and a second from Ms. Hine to approve item 7.2. I pulled this item, although we discussed it at our workshop last week, because it's important to highlight that a charter is planning to expand in Pinellas County, and at the same time we are taking action on schools that we are directly responsible for. It's worth noting that this specific charter school has one location and again is seeking a second location. And reviewing information about this charter school, I learned that the replication application that the board approved in 2025 was withdrawn. I have requested that the board be notified when these situations occur, and I would also like to request that the district continues to closely monitor all charter schools. Based on the district's review of the application, Discovery Academy of Science meets the criteria for approval. Board members, are there any additional discussion? All right. I have a motion and a second to approve item 7.2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next on our agenda is the non-consent. May I have a motion to approve agenda item 8.1, request approval to create a K-8 by combining Bay Point Elementary and Bay Point Middle Schools beginning in the 27-28 school year. Motion. I have a motion from Ms. Blacksburg and a second from Mrs. Peters. Mr. Hendrick?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you said, this recommendation combines Bay Point Elementary School and Bay Point Middle School into a K-8 school on the middle school campus beginning in the 27-28 school year. These two schools, as you know, are adjacent and share the same parcel of land. Bay Point Elementary School is currently at 47% utilization, and Bay Point Middle is at 35% utilization. There are no recommended changes to the school zone boundaries or the current district application program populations. Grades K-5 will remain 100% district application program or magnet, and grades 6 through 8 will retain the current zone and the magnet program that already exists. Implementing this recommendation builds on community feedback regarding K-8 campuses and aligns the current science and technology magnet programs together as they progress as an academic pathway to Lakewood High School's Center for Advanced Technologies. The district continues to work with potential outside partners who will partner with the K-8 school to provide enrichment programming, as well as using the elementary school campus for childcare for infants through VPK, tentatively scheduled to begin in the 27-28 school year. A one-time capital investment of $1.5 million is estimated to combine the two schools, with an annual savings of $2.8 million on the operations side from this consolidation. Additional information was presented, and the board discussed this recommendation at the January 20th and February 17th school board workshops. Faculty and community feedback sessions were held at both Bay Point Elementary and Bay Point Middle Schools in late January. And again, if approved, this recommendation will begin in the 27-28 school year. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Board members, do you have any questions or comments? Mrs. Hine?
I do. I had the opportunity to attend the community meeting at Bay Point Elementary, and not to speak for you, Ms. Edmond, but I believe you attended the community meeting at Bay Point Middle. And then with the other community meetings at all of the other schools, I believe between a few of us, we had them all covered. And so I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the district for those meetings and for the amount of communication and preparation and information that was out there, the opportunity for us and for others to be able to meet and listen and hear directly any questions or concerns and have those be not only heard, but also responded to and answered. What I heard at Bay Point was support for this change, and I know we've taken into consideration a lot of the concerns that we've heard tonight, and that those will all be worked through. So I just wanted to mention I appreciate all the community members who did come out to speak about this, and then also the work on what is that partner in the elementary school. And I think it's very exciting to be able to discuss that and think about what that looks and feels like in the future.
Thank you, Mrs. Hine. And just to echo similar sentiments, having attended the community meeting held at Bay Point Middle School, lots of questions were asked, as well as the feedback that we received throughout this entire process. What's important for me to say and to continue to encourage is that community feedback. Parents, community stakeholders, your feedback has been vital to some of the recommendations, as well as things that the district will do to ensure a smooth transition. So thank you for your continued involvement. I have a motion and a second to approve agenda item 8.2. All in favor? 8.1. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. Next on our agenda, it's 8.2. May I have a motion to approve agenda item 8.2, request approval to expand Oldsmar Elementary School to become a K-8 school beginning in the 26-27 school year. I have a motion from Mrs. Long and a second from Mrs. Kane. Mr. Hendrick?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This recommendation expands Oldsmar Elementary School into a K-8 school on the existing campus in phases beginning in the 26-27 school year. There will be no changes to the current Oldsmar Elementary School zone. Oldsmar Elementary is currently at 57% utilization. Implementing this recommendation with all available seats filled in 3 years will raise the utilization rate to over 95%. All students who attend grade 5 at Oldsmar Elementary School will be able to attend grade 6 at Oldsmar K-8 beginning in 26-27. The transition to a K-8 will occur over 3 years, adding 6th grade next year, grade 7 in 27-28, and grade 8 in 28-29. Through the school choice process, families may apply for any open middle grade seats for students who do not reside in the Oldsmar Elementary zone. The current Oldsmar Elementary School VPK program will transition to the current service center on the campus, and if needed, to Forest Lakes Elementary School, if, as middle grades are phased in, additional space is needed. Minor capital improvements will be made to accommodate middle school students at a cost of less than $500,000 from the capital budget. There are no additional operating costs or savings, only shifts within the overall budget. Additional information was presented, and the board discussed this recommendation at the January 20th and February 17th school board workshops, and a faculty meeting and community feedback session were both held at Oldsmar Elementary School in late January. Again, if approved, this recommendation will begin in the 26-27 school year. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any questions or comments? Mrs. Long?
I'm excited about this. Many years ago, the residents of Oldsmar came to me and asked if there was a way that we could bring students closer to home for middle school. Many were concerned because when your child goes to Carwise and you work till 5 and then want to go to open house at 6, a lot of parents didn't make it. We have a lot of support for this. The mayor, former mayor, a lot of business owners, the gentleman who owns Oldsmar Flea Market is really helping. He's coming forward. He's going to make a proposal soon, is what I was told. But I feel that Oldsmar is a very unique community, and this is very much needed. And I know that I couldn't go to the meeting, but I've been to town halls at the city hall, and people are excited. And I think this is a wonderful move, and I think a lot of parents are going to come to the school. They had gone to charter because they didn't have options. This is going to bring them back. So I'm excited.
Thank you, Mrs. Long, for your comments. I have a motion and a second to approve agenda item 8.2. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. Now on to agenda item 8.3. May I have a motion to approve agenda item 8.3, request approval to expand the employee child care program to McMullen Booth Elementary School beginning in the 26-27 school year. I have a motion from Mrs. Hine and a second from Mrs. Blacksburg. Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This recommendation creates a North County Employee Child Care Center at McMullen Booth Elementary School beginning in the 26-27 school year. Currently, McMullen Booth Elementary School has a utilization rate of 48%. Implementing this recommendation will increase utilization to nearly 70%. 2 buildings on the campus will be repurposed for employee child care serving ages 6 months through 3 years old. All other buildings will continue to support the current elementary school programming. The elementary school will maintain its current school zone. There will be approximately a one-time $700,000 capital cost to outfit the space to comply with licensing regulations. Operating costs will be dependent upon enrollment. Like the original child care program at Betty Ray Ivy Discovery Center, it is anticipated that this program will become self-sufficient in 2 years. Additional information was presented and the board discussed this recommendation at the January 20th and February 17th school board workshops. A faculty meeting was held at McMullen Booth Elementary School in January to discuss this. If approved tonight, the recommendation will begin in the 26-27 school year, and applications for our employees will go out this week if the board approves. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Board members, do you have any comments? I do. Mrs. Hine?
Thank you. I'm thrilled about this. The first child care center has been such a success for our employees. It has about 110 children. This one is going to double that to 220 children. But I want to back up several years, when we would talk about, mostly we wanted to increase teacher pay and staff pay, and how can we get people in this state that funds teacher pay so low? How can we help people stay here and work here and have the best and brightest in our classrooms with our teachers, and sort of hitting your head against the wall about how to increase pay? But then we flipped it and said, how do we reduce their expenses? Are there any expenses in their lives that we can help offset? And this was an idea, and it was a great idea. And it took time, and it took research, and it took the people in our early education department to learn, well, I know about 3- and 4-year-olds. Now I have to learn about 1-year-olds. Now I have to learn about 6-month-olds. I mean, that's an entirely different realm of education, if you will, and little potties and all the things that go along with it. But it took a lot of work, and it took vision, and it took care about people. And again, how do we do the best we can to keep the best and brightest here in Pinellas County Schools? So the fact that we're able to expand this is remarkable. I look forward to hearing about an idea for a South County location soon. And I believe if we could expand childcare 6 months to 3 years to the entire community. I know that I hear from our workforce, I hear from our businesses and the workforce groups that I'm involved in, that one of the greatest issues facing businesses in this community is childcare for their employees. Maybe we can help with that. So I'm very excited about this. Thank you.
Mrs. Blacksburg.
Thank you. To echo your sentiments, Ms. Hine, actually, the Florida Chamber of Commerce cites that lack of affordable child care is the #1 reason parents leave the workforce. And so in a state that still ranks 50th in teacher pay, I wasn't on the board yet to vote for Betty Ray Ivey, so I'm proud to support this expansion of our child care so that we can help support our employees the best way that we can. So.
I have a motion and a second to approve agenda item 8.3. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. Next, agenda item 8.4. May I have a motion to approve agenda item 8.4, request approval for the closure of Cross Bayou Elementary at the end of the 25-26 school year.
I'll make the motion. Second.
I have a motion from Mrs. Peters and a second from Ms. Blacksburg. Mr. Hendrick?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This recommendation closes Cross Bayou Elementary School at the end of the 2025-26 school year. Cross Bayou Elementary School currently serves approximately 250 students in grades K through 5, including students in the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, or DHH program, and it has a utilization rate of 40%. If approved this evening, students currently zoned for Cross Bayou Elementary School will be rezoned in a future board action to nearby Bardmore Elementary School and Pinellas Central Elementary School, depending on the student's home address. The DHH program will transition to a pre-K-8 program in one location at Walsingham Oaks K-8 at the end of the 25-26 school year. Current 6th grade students in the DHH program will have the option to transition from Morgan Fitzgerald Middle School to Walsingham Oaks K-8 in 26-27. The full transition of the program will occur in 27-28 when Walsingham Oaks K-8 welcomes its first 8th grade class. If the board votes for Cross Bayou's closure, the recommendation includes selling or leasing the property following established district procedures. The current Cross Bayou Elementary School facility has over $5 million in deferred maintenance that is needed from the capital budget. There is an estimated annual cost savings of $3 million that can be used to support students and teachers. Additional information was presented to the board, and this was discussed at the January 20th and February 17th school board workshops. 2 community feedback sessions were held at Cross Bayou Elementary School, one in late January and the other in February. And again, if approved, this recommendation will close Cross Bayou Elementary School at the end of this year. Any closure is impactful for the communities that we serve. We've certainly heard from Cross Bayou Elementary School community members who are not happy with this recommendation. and we should expect that. Our schools should be places that are loved and remembered fondly. It is my responsibility, though, and obligation to provide our families with excellent academic choices and programs while maintaining a balanced budget. This recommendation provides excellent zone schools for current Cross Bayou Elementary School families in nearby Pinellas Central and Bardmore Elementary Schools, both of which earned an A school grade. We have also worked with families who want to pursue other choice options within our magnet and choice offerings and have been successful with those families. This recommendation addresses the reality of fewer school-age children within Pinellas County, not only now, but for decades to come. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Board members, do you have any questions or comments? Ms. Peters?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As many of you can imagine, and as many of us have said, this is a really, really hard thing for us to consider. None of these decisions come lightly, and they are, in this case, years in the making. None of this is done quickly, without strategy, without conversation, and I do really appreciate the way our district has opened this conversation up in every possible scenario with staff, with community, multiple times. I want to speak as a parent. I've been a parent in the Pinellas County Public School System since 2005. When my kids went to, I have always had great things to say about our public schools, but right now I'm going to point out a couple challenges as a parent, going to Shore-Acres Elementary. We had a very impactful hour time change, which made our school start an hour early. That was very interesting. We weren't crazy about that. We had, for anyone who remembers, the Wednesday early close day. It wasn't like a full half day, but they got out early on Wednesdays. That was a struggle for working parents. That was a strange thing for us. Our PTA fought and went to Tallahassee to advocate for recess requirement in our elementary schools, and we got that accomplished. And let me think, buses, we had very full buses, late buses, sometimes a no-show bus. I had to deal with all those things as a parent as well. I speak as a parent and also a school board member. I have been on all sides of it. As for the K-8 model, kindergartners are not going to be side by side with 8th graders. We have K-8 models throughout our district that are highly desired, and we can't speak enough to those programs. So trust me when I say that our school district is going to implement that in the best way possible for our students that are going to be going to Walsingham K-8. And then, of course, the other 2 K-8 schools that we have voted on today. I know we discussed the financial part of it, and that is our responsibility, and that's per state law as a school board. And we do have to consider the financial impacts of it, but we do know the emotion. We hear it, we see you, we talk to you, the staff, Mr. Gerke, both of Mr. Gerke's that spoke tonight, and that's very brave. So I just wanted to speak to all of it. It's very emotional, it's hard for us. We are humans, we are parents, but we have to make really hard choices sometimes, and I think our district is doing it the best way possible for our community and staff. So thank you.
Mrs. Long?
I just want you all to know that I've been around a long time. My 44th year here in Pinellas County Schools. I taught. My 2 children went to Pinellas County Schools. And I've dedicated my life to this district because I believe in it that much. We are in a different place, a much better place than we were years ago. After Dr. Hinesley retired, we had a superintendent who wanted things his way. And little Curtis Fundamental, he said, I'm not going to tell you what he said because it was just so racial. He wouldn't listen to any of us parents. He wouldn't listen to any of us. He made his decision, and that was that. You have no idea as a parent how much that hurt. We didn't get any choices. We've come a long way since then. We struggled with superintendents that just, oh boy, I don't know how we got through it. But we are at a different place now. Dr. Michael Grego started that movement, and Kevin Hendricks is following that movement. I want you all to know that my fellow board members are very caring, passionate school board members. They feel the same passion and love that I do. And this is not an easy decision, but I'm glad that at least this time you've had a chance to talk and keep talking. No matter what happens tonight, we're still here for you. We will still be here, and we will help the best we can to make any transition that's voted on to go smoothly. We have to work as a team. But I'm so grateful tonight that you have an opportunity so different than my husband and I had. It still hurts me to think about. I worked behind that little Curtis Fundamental, and it was such a beautiful little school. Everybody got around, and the things he said to the parents, it was horrifying. So you're in such a better place than I was. So tonight, know that every single one of these board members, they feel the pain. I've watched them. I've watched them when we were discussing this. Of course, it was Zoom, but I could still see when they talked. They really care. And this is not going to be an easy decision. But we're in a better place than we have been. Unfortunately, Pinellas County isn't going to be for young people much longer. It's going to be all of us old people, and I don't like that, but I guess that's part of life's changes. So thank you.
Mrs. Kane?
Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. And I want to thank these speakers who've come forth to express their feelings about the necessary closures. And I want to address a couple of points when it comes to those closures. The first being, we do recognize the difficulty that parents face in this situation. I'm a parent of 4 as well, and actually she spoke about the fight for recess, and it brought me back because that's what put me up on this board, I think, as I was one of those moms on the PTA fighting for recess with the state, and ultimately led to my first run for the school board. But I do completely understand your perspective, and I want to address a couple of things. The first being, I hope you understand, moms and dads, parents and families, also teachers and staff, the financial constraints that are leading to some of these decisions in our district due to the need for increased funding and increased FTE at the state level for our students. We have a lot of buildings in our county, and it's becoming, prices continue to inflate, inflation continues to rise, and the cost of maintaining some of those buildings continues to increase. So we have to step back as a board and think strategically. I'm also a theater educator, and I've been a theater educator for 18 years. And I feel like this struggle sometimes is something I do face with students. They start thinking about how they feel, and especially when you're faced with disappointment, or particularly, something didn't go well, or you're feeling that it's personal. And I always encourage them, these are the moments where you have to stop thinking about limitations and start thinking creatively about possibilities. And I think that that's where the board is going with the creation and idea and the concept of the K-8, is that we might be constrained, but that doesn't constrain us from possibilities as a community and as a school board to think creatively and think in a new direction that can create endless and amazing possibilities. I will say, it's a move that is centered on a lot of financial stability for our district. So I think we are coming at it strategically from that. But also I want to point out, as a teacher and as a mom, because I teach theater, I'm in a unique position where often I have taught students with a large variety of age groups in one room. And I will say, to the point of parents who might be nervous about this or see it as a full negative, I have seen nothing but positive come from that atmosphere. In my experience, honestly, when the students are of a variety of ages and they are together, they learn from each other. It creates a beautiful culture of cohesiveness, togetherness, and unity as a school, as a community, as a group, whatever it may be. And I have never really seen a negative impact from that. And honestly, I have taught groups, all one age group, all one grade or one particular group. And I've taught many with students as young as first grade all the way to seniors in high school in one group, and they learned better. And so my experience as a mom and also as a teacher has been that that's been very positive for the students. You'd be surprised how often the older kids will take on a mentorship role with younger students. And also you'll find that that mentorship builds community amongst the students. And so I think that's something to point out as we look at it. If you are nervous about it, or it's something that makes you feel like, oh my gosh, there would be an 8th grader in the same bus possibly as a kindergartner, and it could in fact be positive. So I just want to open our minds to the possibility that it could be positive. And I'm sure there are very valid concerns in some regards, and I believe me, the school board will take all of those very, very seriously. And I know our district and trust that our district and our superintendent are going to make sure that it's all done in a positive way as we move forward. So thank you.
All right. So for Cross Bayou, I had the opportunity to attend the last community meeting, and I'm just going to reiterate some of the things that I shared at the workshop regarding staff ability to help the parents who had questions. And just to add to that, I had the opportunity to engage with families and take them or bring staff over to answer their questions. And the following Monday, I received an email just confirming that the parents' questions were answered or they connected them with the appropriate person. And that speaks to the effort the district is making to have a smooth transition. So kudos to staff and kudos to the families who have emailed, called, attended multiple meetings, sent videos expressing their concerns or providing suggestions. Also, knowing that the options, or some of the options, because the options are limitless as it relates to schooling options, but specifically related to Pinellas Central and Bardmore, I want to just thank Ms. Dole for going on a tour with me to Pinellas Central in Bardmore, so I could see firsthand, as families say, that school isn't going to be a better school for my student. I said, well, at least I could do is go out and see what the schools look like so that I could speak to families who have questions about Pinellas Central or Bardmore. I have to do a little plug. I did teach at Pinellas Central, and to see the walls in place and the full upgrade, it's like, wow, this is like a brand new school. And to go to Bardmore and just see the love and care for the ASD unit, the bilingual class, and just everything about it was just nice, warm, and welcoming. And I was like, wow. I need to go to more schools and tell them, hey, you should go check out Pinellas Central and Bardmore so we can bring some of that warmth and welcomeness or friendliness to other schools. And then regarding Walsingham K-8, some of you may know this or may not know this, but I'm really concerned or passionate about the services we provide to our students with varying exceptionalities. So hearing from the parents who came to the meeting and shared their support of having a K-8, which this would be the only K-8 for them, I believe, for the deaf and hard of hearing. I was like, wow, you know what? This is opportunity. We are expanding opportunity and access to a group of children and families who may not have had the opportunity to have a K-8. And I also went to Walsingham K-8. So again, I just want to reiterate that I don't take any decision we make lightly. I ask questions, I go on visits, I poke and prod, and the recommendations or questions and concerns, I go back, I ask more questions. So it is important, as you heard earlier from other board members, to keep providing feedback. And again, I just want to reiterate that the district is along the whole entire process to help and support teachers and staff as well as families through any transition. And there's even follow-up planned after this meeting regarding the actions that are occurring. So thank you, and continue to remain engaged. Your involvement is critical. So we have a motion and a second to approve agenda item 8.4. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. Next agenda item is 8.5. May I have a motion to approve agenda item 8.5, request approval for the closure of Diston Academy at the end of the 25-26 school year? I have a motion by Mrs. Long and a second from Mrs. Hine. Superintendent?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This recommendation closes Diston Academy at the end of the 25-26 school year. Diston Academy is an educational alternative services, or EAS, program that currently serves approximately 70 students in grades 6 through 12 on the campus with a building utilization rate at 20%. The site also houses the district's teleschool program, a virtual program serving approximately 200 middle and high school students who have been administratively placed due to significant infractions of the Code of Student Conduct at their assigned schools. Teleschool, under this recommendation, will relocate to Bayside High School at the end of the 25-26 school year. Students in Diston Academy will be supported to choose a new EAS program or a traditional school for the 26-27 school year. Of the 70 students at Diston, over 20 are seniors who are working towards graduation this year. Upon this recommendation, it would include selling or leasing the property following established district procedures. There are cost savings on the capital budget of $2 million in deferred maintenance and an estimated $2 million annually in the operations budget that can be redirected to support students and teachers. Additional information was presented to the board at a workshop, and discussion was held on January 20th and February 17th. Faculty meetings and 2 community feedback sessions were held at Diston Academy, one in January and one in February. Like Cross Bayou Elementary School, closing a school in a community is a significant decision. And in this case, a school has operated in Gulfport on this site for over 100 years, which makes this, again, not an easy decision. I appreciate the families, the staff, and the Gulfport leaders who have shared feedback, particularly on what to do with the property next. With this recommendation, we are confident that students can be served at other existing educational alternative sites and traditional schools throughout the district. And again, if approved, this recommendation will close Diston Academy at the end of the 25-26 school year. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Board members, do you have any questions or comments? Mrs. Hine?
Yes, I think what the superintendent just said about we are confident students can be served has been a leading factor in this entire process. And I'm sorry to go back to Cross Bayou, but one of the things that I would have said, but everybody covered it so well, is the proximity of the other 2 schools and the quality of the other schools. If that wasn't there, we wouldn't do it. And I would say this also applies to Diston. Not the proximity part. We've got to make sure transportation is right, but the quality and the availability. So the fact that they have access to excellence at Lealman Innovation is an extremely important factor in being able to confidently make this decision. I attended this community meeting as well, along with Ms. Edmond, and it was very powerful to hear directly from the families who attend that school about the importance of that school, the value of the programs. I've been to every single one of our EAS schools. They are important, powerful, valuable education opportunities for our students. So with this one, again, I know we've discussed it, but just to make clear, ensuring that that transportation is available for any students in South County to get them to Lealman and transitioned into that program We also discussed, the opportunity to honor the school somehow, whether at Lealman or in place, and same with Cross Bayou. If there's some way to help that school and that school community honor and celebrate, whether it's some kind of stone or just some, I'm sure those schools are thinking about that. But I want to mention that when it comes to Diston also. Exceptional programs. If we have to be confident that students can be served in excellent programs in this county. And with this decision, I am confident that those students from Diston will be served in an excellent program.
Thank you, Mrs. Hine. And again, we have spoken about the recommendations several times, and I'm going to just recap what I said at the workshop, because it is very important to say that parents, teachers, your voices matter, and seeing the passion in the room regarding the closure of Diston and what could be made me do some more digging as far as how many students are passing Diston Academy to go to other options. It made me look at, the realization that Diston Academy isn't your regular high school. It's not where students typically spend 9th through 12th grade. The goal is for them to transition to a traditional high school or better educational opportunity. And just seeing the way the building looked, knowing that the board has already approved the raising of the building next door due to its condition, and Superintendent Hendrick mentioned the utilization rate, 25%. And we have, 25%. It's a challenge to maintain a building when you are compensated by how many students you have. So again, the maintenance of keeping the building open and the quality of education being provided, I strongly believe that those opportunities can be better seen or found elsewhere. So thank you very much to the families that came out, to the staff who spoke as well. I have a motion and a second to approve agenda item 8.5. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. Agenda item 8.6. May I have a motion to approve the charter school renewal agreement with Micro Schools of Integrated Academics and Technologies for a 1-year renewal effective July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. I have a motion by Mrs. Peters and a second by Mrs. Long. Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We held a lengthy discussion on this topic at the workshop last week, and to summarize that and this recommendation, I'll ask Deputy Superintendent Stephanie Woodford to give the board and public an overview. Mrs. Woodford.
Thank you, Mr. Hendrick. Madam Chair, board members, established in 2012, Pinellas Micro School of Integrated Academics and Technologies serves as an alternative charter school focused on credit recovery. This school currently serves 118 students in grades 7 through 12. It is unusual for us to bring forward a 1-year contract renewal. However, as workshopped recently, there are 3 areas of improvement needed within this school. Those 3 areas are attendance reporting. We need to ensure that the school moves in the direction of all of their data is accurate, their FTE accuracy as well, and finally, that all exceptional student education students are served appropriately. So it's with this 1-year contract renewal that we provide enough time for corrective action of micro school. We will work collaboratively with them, and the contract puts in checks and balances so that we will see those areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Woodford. Board members, do you have any questions or comments? Mrs. Hine?
I would just like to highlight the work of our charter school department with Ms. Zielinski, and it's just an opportunity to remind the public that Pinellas County Schools is responsible to oversee the charter schools within Pinellas County at this point, unless they were one of the Schools of Hope operators. We don't have any of those in our county at this point. But for the charter schools that we do have, we do oversee them. And so that means they come up for renewal. We just, earlier in this meeting, we just approved the Discovery Academy of Science for a 15-year renewal. So there's a big difference between a 15-year renewal and a 1-year renewal. And so that lets us know that Ms. Zielinski and her team are keeping oversight in the concerns around the FTE is around financial record keeping. Yes, just to make that clear. We all know what FTE means, full-time equivalent, but just to make everyone clear, that's around financial record keeping. So I just want to, again, highlight her work and the oversight of this and remind us that not that many years ago, Pinellas County Schools had to close 5 charter schools within a 3-year period, whether it was because of academic failure or financial malfeasance, but a number of different reasons. We hope we don't have to get to that point here, but it is our job to make sure all of the students that are publicly funded in charter schools and public schools in Pinellas County Schools are learning, and that we know where those tax dollars are being spent and that they're being reported properly. So again, thank you for that work.
I have a motion and a second to approve agenda item 8.6. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. Now on to new business. Superintendent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to provide the board and public first an update on the Schools of Hope, as was just mentioned by Mrs. Hine. On Friday, the State Board of Education met in Key West and unanimously passed updates to State Board rules concerning Schools of Hope. The State Board clarified that only schools under 75% capacity qualify for co-location, removed certain schools from being eligible for co-location, limited the number of proposals a charter school operator can make, and allows for certain cost sharing under certain conditions. While these are improvements to the original rule and law, and some would say perhaps should have been there initially, they still do not address the original provision of the law that supports students in persistently low-performing schools and still could potentially allow Hope operators to operate in A and B schools without even serving low-performing students. And that remains a concern of ours, and we will continue to advocate and monitor that on behalf of Pinellas County. School Board Chair Caprisa Edmond attended the meeting in her role as president of the Greater Florida Consortium of School Boards and spoke on behalf of the consortium. Thank you for your advocacy, Ms. Edmond. This morning, moving on to a more brighter topic, Outstanding School Volunteer Recognition. We recognize 17 Outstanding School Volunteer finalists who were chosen from over 120 nominees across the district in the Outstanding School Volunteer of the Year program. Thank you to Achieva Credit Union for sponsoring the breakfast for the 42nd consecutive year. Category winners were chosen this morning in the youth, adult, and senior categories. And congratulations to our outstanding youth volunteer, Emma Reverin, who is a student at St. Petersburg College but volunteers at Tarpon Springs Elementary School. Our outstanding adult volunteer is Nicole Halstead at Mangrove Bay Middle School, and our outstanding senior volunteer, Cindy Peacock at Palm Harbor Middle School. All three, Emma, Nicole, and Cindy, will be entered into the statewide competition. Last week, I was excited to celebrate the Kids Tag Art annual competition. I want to thank Ms. Hine and Ms. Peters for being there to celebrate students from 53 schools across the district who participated in the Kids Tag Art ceremony at Largo High School. We're grateful to the Pinellas County Tax Collector's Office and community sponsors for supporting this event. The program allows 5th grade students the opportunity to design a front vanity license plate in their art class, and proceeds from their tag sales, where they are sold at the tax collector's office, are then donated back to participating art classrooms in Pinellas County Schools. The Pinellas County Tax Collector's Office launched this program in 2015, and since its inception has raised $450,000 back to Pinellas County Schools arts classrooms. A reminder to our families that summer camp registration is now open and is underway through March 8th. The district is offering more than 55 options, including STEM, career exploration, fitness, the arts, academics, and more. Families can find a link to learn more about this on our homepage. And as of this morning, we had over 5,000 registrations for summer camps. I want to wish best of luck tonight in 20 minutes to the Palm Harbor University boys soccer team, which is kicking off in the Final Four tonight. They will be facing Seminole High School, not our Seminole High School, but Seminole High School from Sanford, Florida, at Speck Martin Stadium in DeLand, Florida, in the state Final Four boys soccer competition. This weekend, there's lots of opportunities for the public to see Pinellas County Schools in action, and one of those is the Ignite Music Invitational. The Ignite Music Invitational begins tomorrow with the Choral Festival at the University of South Florida in Tampa, and then the band and orchestra components on Friday and Saturday at Gibbs High School. The Ignite Music Invitational is a Music for All regional affiliate festival that supports music education in a non-competitive style. More than 15 schools from across Pinellas and across the state will join in, and we're excited to see our elementary all-county choir component this year as well. This program is funded in part by Pinellas County Schools referendum, and performances are free and open to the public. Also this weekend will be the annual ball hockey tournament. Nearly 20 elementary and middle school teams will be competing in the Tampa Bay Lightning ball hockey tournament this Saturday. Ball hockey is an outgrowth of the Lightning's Hockey in Schools program that annually visits Pinellas County Schools' physical education programs. This year's tournament is at the brand new Sprouse Horizon Sports Park in Pinellas Park on 62nd Avenue. It begins at noon and concludes at 6 p.m. on Saturday. Get there early as the whole complex is having its ribbon cutting ceremony the same day. We invite the community to our upcoming Listen and Learn session, which will take place at 6:30 p.m. on March 4th at the President Barack Obama Main Library on 9th Avenue North in St. Petersburg. Each session of our Listen and Learn covers a special topic, and this session will focus on school, city, and community partnerships. We will cover district news and provide opportunities for students, staff, and the community to ask questions and interact with not only district leaders, but also Mayor Ken Welsh and Program Director for Education, Dr. Sharon Brown, will be there from the city of St. Petersburg and will join the panel discussion with board members and myself. We look forward to seeing the community there on March 4th. And finally tonight, it's my pleasure to celebrate the superintendent standout as we recognize employees for their great contributions and demonstration of core values across the district. And tonight we honor Susan Suffel, the food and nutrition free and reduced lunch specialist with Pinellas County Schools, who has been employed for 27 years with Pinellas County Schools. And she was recently recognized by a colleague who said, "Ms. Suffel helped me understand how the free and reduced lunch rate is determined as we look to support Medicaid reimbursement. She's a dedicated, hardworking, and loyal employee and shows that teamwork and cross-departmental collaboration are essential to achieving our district strategic goals." Thank you again, Ms. Suffel, for your work and all of our employees for the work they do each and every day. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item 9.2, items introduced by School Board Attorney.
I have no report this evening. Thank you.
Agenda item 9.3, items introduced by the board. Mrs. Peters.
Thank you. Wow, when I sit this close to you, I get to go first a lot of times. Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to give a quick shout out to the Tarpon Springs Transportation Compound. Thank you guys for inviting me and hosting me today. I often meet people out in the public and find out they work for Pinellas County School District, and invite me to your school, invite me to your wherever it is you work in the district. And they did. So I came and I got to greet the bus drivers as they came in from their morning rounds. So, well, it was afternoon by the time they were coming in from their morning route, or routes, I should say, plural. But I just want to, we all go to different events and schools and all these different great places throughout our district, and we do it many times a week, I know. And you can't leave any event or school or location or anything that has to do with our school district without feeling inspired and positive and just understanding that these people, everybody does their job because they love kids. It's absolutely just amazing to me. And I've had a full week of, and it's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday evening. So there's just been a lot of events. We had our first cohort of teacher apprenticeship signing day yesterday, which was awesome. You get to hear from the teacher themselves, and it might be a sponsored program. It is hard work for these people. Are putting in 40 hours a week at the job. They're getting their schooling. They have families. Just hearing from, I got to talk to many of the teachers that are, well, they're finishing, they're graduating in May, I believe. And then also talking to the teachers that mentored them. And they were not sure when they were asked how this was going to go, because they are the first round of mentors, but they were like, oh gosh, I didn't know what this would be like. And then now at the end, on the other side of it, they're like, oh, it was wonderful. I found out things about myself, and I would do it again. And then, of course, the schools and principals that support this. And we have our second, did we just start a third round of?
We started our second. So just
Okay.
to give the public the full story, yesterday,
Yeah.
24 of our
Okay.
teacher apprentices who have been in the program now for 2
Mhm.
years signed advanced contracts. So we are guaranteeing them a job with Pinellas County Schools as a classroom teacher as they finish their program. And these are all individuals who are paraprofessionals in the district, have 2-year degrees, but have been working to finish that. And that was a commitment from the board and St. Petersburg College. And we thank our legislative delegation, too, who helped support that. And so they're this close to graduating.
You're so close.
But they are now, we owe them contracts next year as teachers. And the good news is their principals, to a person, said, I would hire them right now in classrooms. They are ready to be teachers for our children. It was lots of smiles yesterday. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, it was.
So we
it
have our
was-
second cohort of 9 who started just recently.
And of course, based on funding as to how many more of these we will do, but certainly this is, these people are exceptional. And some of them have been working in our districts for 20 plus years already, and they're just now becoming teachers. So I just think that speaks to, it just speaks volumes to all the people that are in our schools and working so hard to take care of them. But these bus drivers today, I am telling you what, they are energetic and positive, and it was just, I got invited onto their buses. They were so proud of their bus. It's clean. Some of them decorated. It's just so much fun. So just so many great things going on in our district. I invite people to go to an event or a school. If you don't know which one you want to go to or you think you might have trouble getting in, just reach out to one of us. We will be more than happy to show you the great things that are going on in our district. More great things than not. So I'm very proud of our district. I think that's it. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I did have one request for Ms. Woodford. Is there any way that the board can get a copy of the National History Day winners, the documentary, and the paper that those 2 students got an award for? Because they sounded amazing, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who wants.
Oh no, we were all sitting there asking for it as well. So thank you for a formal request.
Well, if you're interested, this year's competition is coming up, I think, in 2 Saturdays. So we'll make sure that's on your calendar as well.
Mrs. Blacksburg?
Yes. I just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Deendaw and the Office of Strategic Partnerships and Achieva. I know, Superintendent, you mentioned it earlier, but the Outstanding Volunteer Breakfast is one of my favorite events, and it is so inspiring to see not just the people, but the time and the effort that they put in every day. They do it out of the kindness of their hearts because they care about our kids, they care about our community. I know we hear all the time that, public schools are the cornerstone of democracy, but I truly believe that they are the cornerstone and the basis for a healthy, thriving community. And I am proud to call Pinellas County home, and I am proud that we have so many amazing volunteers that take time out of their busy schedules every day, and they choose to spend time with our kids, mentor them, and to be a part of of the next generation. So thank you to all of the volunteers, especially the ones that were honored, but not, every volunteer makes a difference in, our schools every day. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Blacksburg. I do want to just speak briefly regarding the Outstanding School Volunteer Awards. Achieva has been a partner of Pinellas County Schools for over 40 years. So when we talk about strategic partnerships and following through, Achieva really has left a mark, and they have been a host of the Outstanding School Volunteer Awards as well for several years, decades. So their support is greatly appreciated. Hearing the stories and the passion from the volunteers also was heartwarming this morning. We even saw some tears of joy as one person was recognized. Volunteers, you make a difference. Whether you are reading to a child or helping with homework, volunteering at the front desk, serving on the PTA, you are very critical in making a difference in our schools. So if you are looking for opportunities to volunteer, please reach out to a local school near you. And congratulations to all of the nominees as well as the award recipients. Superintendent Hendrick mentioned I had the opportunity of going to the Department of Education's meeting as the president of the Greater Florida Consortium of School Boards, and I spoke specifically regarding Schools of Hope in my 60 seconds. It was an impactful 60 seconds. And although the Schools of Hope amendment to the rule passed unanimously, there are still things that we need to advocate for, as Superintendent Hendrick mentioned. Although this is not supposed to impact districts until 27 school year, we see the impact now. From getting all of the letters to having to respond to letters. So the impact is occurring now. And it's not hysteria, it's a reality. Reality that charter schools are being allowed to expand. They're given a leg up. And annually, we are asking for additional funds to support our schools, our traditional public schools, yet charter schools can have the opportunity to operate in our schools. One of the things I want to mention in the other comments regarding the Department of Education, I will say for the workshop, but it's specifically related to IB programs being considered co-locating in public schools. That in itself is inaccurate. An IB program doesn't have a separate operator. And that was one of the comments that came from Education Commissioner. And that just reminds me that everybody is not aware of what is happening in traditional public schools, and we need to educate them. Again, to hear Education Commissioner state that false, it's not even a reality, false narrative regarding IB programs being co-location is just wrong. Anyway, I will give you further information at our workshop. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about was the Calc 3. At our workshop, I mentioned it. I had the opportunity to attend FSBA's Calc 3 workshop. It has been recorded. If you have the opportunity, I encourage you to look at it. Some of the things that stood out to me were questions like, are we expected to have a 4-calc reduction? You know, if we receive a decline from Calc 2 to Calc 3, one can assume Calc 4, there'll be a reduction as well. And that will impact funds that the district receives. The consortium, one of our advocacy items, was asking still asking the legislators to mitigate but with the decline in enrollment, because those funds were budgeted, and I know we all attended the workshop, so I won't harp on that. But one of the workshop requests that I'll bring to the board at our workshop is to have a more detailed conversation regarding how the calc impacts our finances. And then one of the other things they mentioned were considering looking at birth rates. One of the examples they gave was Lake County. In Lake County, their birth rate's increasing. So not quite sure if babies are booming in Pinellas, but as we make decisions, I just think it's important to keep in mind all of the realities that we face. And that is definitely a topic that they recommend we take a little bit more or pay more attention to, because it directly impacts us. And the last thing on my list is related to charter schools. I share with you why I pulled the agenda item for Discovery Academy, and again, with Schools of Hope, which are different from the charter schools that we are sponsoring, and I'll ask Mr. Kapersky to provide a little bit more information for the public.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, I did speak with the chair earlier, and she asked just for a short overview of just charter schools generally. So some of this will be a bit simplistic maybe for you, but just to educate others who don't work in this area very much. So of course, charter schools are public schools. The Florida legislature made that perfectly clear. The major charter school statute is very lengthy, clocking in at over 21,000 words. The first 8 of which are all charter schools in Florida are public schools. So we know very clearly that they are public schools. And that statute has been amended, expanded a lot, but also changed and amended over the last few decades. Charter schools did start in the 1990s in the state of Florida, and we do have some very senior charter schools in Pinellas County as well. So the process to begin a charter school, we all know that the application used to only be able to come to the school board, but now the law has been expanded over several years that you can apply to the state to approve your charter school application. But nevertheless, it's always going to be the local school board that will be the sponsor, except in a very few, very specific, unique instances where a Florida public college or university could be a sponsor, but we don't have any of those here. So once we are a sponsor, the duties and obligations of the school board as the sponsor for that public school that is not under our governance, but under the governance of a separate nonprofit entity, our duties are basically those of oversight. And so the statute talks about taking a look and making sure that they follow up with their academic goals, make sure that you have oversight over their financial condition, make sure that you have oversight that they're following the state accountability and testing systems as well. We also have to monitor their compliance with other Florida laws with which they must comply, such as the sunshine laws, having meetings in public, complying with the public records laws and safety laws. And there's a myriad of laws that they must comply with. And it is the duty of the local sponsor, the local school board, you and Mr. Hendrick and the charter school office, to make sure that they are following up on all of those laws. Each one of those charter schools, as you well know, has set academic goals. And so our staff, your staff, Mr. Hendrick's staff, they follow up on that, making sure that they are making that progress. And if they are not, then the staff will collaborate with the charter school leaders, the administrators, to make sure that they can turn things around. And you saw the evidence of that tonight on your non-consent agenda item with micro school. The ultimate accountability that the sponsor has is to non-renew or terminate the charter school. And that has not been done in this district for many years, but it is something that this school board has done several years ago. And so obviously there are very restrictive and prescriptive grounds by which you can terminate or non-renew. It's the same grounds for both an existing charter school. So in closing, I'll just say your general obligations are to conduct the oversight, to help them along as they need assistance. If we can assist them with something that they need, that the statute requires that we provide for them, we need to provide that. It is a lengthy statute, as been discussed here tonight. Rules are amended at the State Board of Education level almost on an annual basis. That 21,000-word statute is added to almost every legislative session. And so this is a very ripe area for continued legislation and rulemaking. But then I'll just mention the Schools of Hope. I know it has been mentioned again. They are a separate subset of charter schools. I believe that some people in the community may be a little confused. Schools of Hope are charter schools, but they begin a different way, as has been mentioned. The Hope operator, which must be approved at the state board level, and there are only 7 of them in the state at this time, once they are recognized as a Hope operator, then they simply can send a notice of intent to open a Schools of Hope in a particular school district in the state, in one of the 67 school districts. So I know much has been given attention to the building notices that we received last October prematurely, and then November in the accurate way. And those building notices just relate to the co-location. But there are other agreements that we would need to eventually enter into with the School of Hope if they ever wanted to open in Pinellas County Schools, whether it's co-locating in one of our buildings or simply just opening in a site that is not one of our buildings. So, Madam Chair, I hope that provides a brief overview of the charter schools and your obligations as a school board and district.
Thank you, Mr. Kopersky. I see that Ms. Blacksburg has a question or comment.
I do. That 21,000 word document, it does get amended and usually every year to the benefit of charter schools. As we have discussed, and we know as a board, but for the public's knowledge, charter schools are funded the same way that we are as a traditional public school. The difference is the management companies are for-profit companies. So they are able to make a profit off of public education as we sit here and close schools. And I think it's worth mentioning. I think it's worth the public understanding that as, you know, the newer rules regarding the Schools of Hope were just ruled upon all the way in Key West, there are still issues regarding it, and they're of big concern, especially considering that a School of Hope doesn't have necessarily the same, you just mentioned it, the same oversight as from our board, and the way that they're able to open, their application goes to the Department of Education, not to Pinellas County Schools. So I think educating the public, we are all happy to answer questions. If we don't know the answer, I'm happy to get you the answer. But I think it's important for the public to educate themselves about the real threat that this poses to our traditional public schools.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kopersky, for providing that information to the public regarding the difference between charter schools as well as the Schools of Hope. And just to go back to what I was talking about regarding our workshop, we also learned that in Pinellas, over $82 million are allocated to charter schools. So making sure that they are held accountable for student outcomes and other contract agreements in accordance with the law will continue to be a priority of the district. And I look forward to continuing to advocate for everything that our traditional public schools deserves. And just to go back to some of the gaps in the ruling, since Ms. Blacksburg is going to take me there, is one of them was making sure that the rule addresses low-performing schools and that it's not just schools that are rated A and B schools to be subjected to Hope operators. making sure that school districts are fairly reimbursed. Incremental is subjective. Somebody can say, incrementally, I'll give you $1 per each student. And again, that's going to put districts arguing with management companies regarding what is a fair amount of compensation. Then also, there's the law states no cost co-location, yet the rule has incremental. An operator could argue the law says I can set up shop at your school for $0, so we don't even need to talk about incremental. And then talking about the fish reports or the use of the schools, having clear parameters regarding the selections of the co-location sites is critical. One, as I mentioned earlier, not targeting high-performing schools. ESE centers, technical schools should also be considered excluded from consideration. And then the gaps and inconsistencies within the selection criteria. There's so much more that is wrong with the amendment that was unanimously approved at the Boards of Education meeting. And it is going to be up to boards to advocate. And I've seen on social media that we're going to be strongly encouraged to get up and do something and fight for public education. And as a former educator and proud union member, that's what we did. We fought. We fought for public education. And now, serving in a different role, we are going to have to advocate for local control, right? The Board of Education approved their ruling on the start times and the document that districts would have to submit. Although here, locally, our parents are able to come to us and tell us what works for them. So anyway, I'll go on and on more at our workshop and go ahead and wrap up my comments about the wonderful experience at the Board of Education meeting and how we must advocate for public education. So with that, 9.4, review of board request.
Madam Chair, I noted 2 requests. The first one from Ms. Edmond, that the district closely monitor all charters and notify all board members of any changes or edits specifically to contracts. And then from Ms. Peters, a copy of the National History winning papers, and also an appreciation for the shout out to transportation from Ms. Peters. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will adjourn our meeting and move on to public participation. Mrs. Hauk, are there any speakers?
Madam Chair, we have 2 speakers this evening.
Thank you very much. We will now move to public comment on the general business of the district. Please note that the views and comments of the public speakers are their own and not endorsed nor sponsored by the school board or district. We cannot ensure the accuracy of statements made, but will review concerns that are raised and take appropriate action, which may include clarifications or the referral of speakers to the proper staff member for assistance. The board is committed to a standard of civility and decorum in conducting our meetings. This includes refraining from clapping or making audible noises during or after a speaker's comments. We appreciate you assisting us in maintaining a civil and constructive environment. Additionally, please note that although board members or Superintendent Hendrick may leave the dais briefly, there are speakers in the back room, and we will continue to be able to hear your comments. Thank you. Mrs. Howe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our speakers this evening are Lee Bryant and Tracy McConnell.
Good evening, Chair Edmond, members of the board. Welcome back, Ms. Long, Superintendent Hendrick, and staff. My name is Lee Bryant, president of the PCTA. I'd like to use a couple of numbers tonight to make a point. And we're going to start with 0. 0 is the number of administrators in this district who were not once teachers. Every one of them understands what lesson planning looks like in real classrooms. They've lived it. Here's another number, 256. That's the number of words in Article 25 lesson plans in the contract that binds all of us. It's not 10 pages. It's not vague language. It's 256 clear words. Those words say that teachers shall plan for instruction and maintain lesson plans in either written or electronic form, and that no particular format is required. Lesson plans must allow for flexibility for interruptions, varied conditions, and student needs, and that administrators may require up to 1 week of plans in advance, only under specific circumstances. The language is straightforward. It protects instructional integrity while allowing accountability. There's another couple of numbers, 40 and 60. At recent DWT trainings, PCTA received many reports of administrators demanding that teachers submit 40 to 60 days worth of lesson plans in advance in specifically required formats. At one school, teachers were brought into a media center and told they could not leave until those plans were completed. Other schools were given a deadline of just a couple of days to produce months' worth of plans. That is not 1 week, that is not flexibility, and that is not what the contract allows. Let's be honest, lesson plans do not survive untouched for 40 to 60 days. In just 53 days last year, we had 3 hurricanes. Add in fire drills, assemblies, testing schedules, power outages, and reteaching students when they don't get the material the first time. Real classrooms require professional judgment and responsiveness. That's what good teaching looks like. When administrators demand months of rigid, prescriptive plans that are not increasing instructional quality, they're increasing paperwork and burnout. Teachers are professionals. They are already stretched to their limits. When contractual language is ignored, it damages morale and trust. This is not about resisting accountability. It is about honoring agreed upon language and respecting the professionals in our classrooms. I'm asking the board ensure that Article 25 is. Thank you.
Many of you have taught in the classroom. Have you ever planned a lesson and in your mind you saw it going differently than how it actually played out in the classroom? Well, if you answered yes, then you can relate to the classroom computer program Amira. When I went to training during the fall for Amira, everything the trainer said sounded amazing. Imagine all of your students getting individual tutoring a few times a week. That was the expectation. Then there is the reality of what AI can actually provide. Imagine a room full of 18 kids all yelling, "Wake up, Spot," to a computer dog to get the computer working. Did you know that Spot wakes up even if you just yell something inappropriate at him? Not to mention, at times, Amira says, "Spot can't hear you," which just makes the students get louder. Imagine trying to teach small group during this. Amira struggles to hear kids with speech issues or accents. This makes kids get frustrated. You know it's bad when a kid asks, "Can we just go back to the old iStation?" My real concern is that ISIP assessments are given monthly. AI is grading these assessments. The grading isn't accurate. It also reads all questions to students, even to those who are not supposed to get any kind of testing accommodations. This is going to be a possibility for promotion in 3rd grade this year. Are we really going to trust AI with a possible promotion to 4th grade? Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no other speakers this evening.
That concludes public participation for this evening. Thank you all for attending.